Alright guys, good news, the reverse level came in. So let's go ahead and start this girl up, get her warmed up, and put that kit on it. And I'll go over the kit and what it came with. And let's go ahead and get this done, because it should be a pretty quick job. So this is what you get. You get a lot smaller block for the rear. And we'll get the tape measure and measure it so we can get an exact measurement. And you get all new, really nice looking U-bolts that look painted. So that's already better than factory. And you get all new hardware too. So that's just really nice. You got nuts, washers. So it's a pretty simple job. You just have to do them both at once. So you gotta lift up the back, do all 8 bolts, have the axle drop, and then just swap everything out, slap it back together, and send it home with an impact. But yeah, let's do some pre-measurements first, so we can see how much it actually drops. All right, so this is the back. Our first measurement is right at 33 and 3/4. 43 and 3/4. All right. And our front here measures 41 and 3/4. 41 and 3/4. All right, cool. Now we got our baseline. Now let's get to work and see what our difference is. All right, so like I said, we have to do we have to do both together, because that way when you pick up the truck straight up, it keeps the axle level. Because if you did it one time, I think it would just fight you way too much. So let's get the right size socket, and hopefully my 1/2 inch impact will fit under there. I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's not that size. It looks a lot bigger. Way too big. Way too small. Oh, what size are you? 22? Let's see. 24, 15/16. All right. Well, here goes nothing. Let's do the other side now. All right, now let's take off this side. So much dirt. All right, let's lift up the truck now. Alright, now we jack it up. The axle should just stay on the ground like it is. Alright. Let's see. That's enough room. Let's put y'all down so y'all can see. That's one. This one's a little bit more trickier. Alright, let's think. You just pop off. There we go. What's that? Now to the other side. And to give y'all a reference, my light's in there. I can't even, this is as much room as I got. Come on. And get the other one. Go. Now I gotta get the blocks from underneath. Here we go. Just take it out just like that. And I'm going to give you all a reference of how high you have to jack this thing up so you can access it. And she is way up in the air. Get that block out because you have to unload all the suspension. Apparently it's got a lot of weight on it. So yeah. Alright, so this is what we're working with. Here's the OEM one, and here's the new one, which is a lot heavier built. It's a lot heavier than this. So this should be 3 1/4 inches, right on the money. And this is a 1 1/2 plate, but let's see. So it's actually, because you guys see this, see it's a little bit smaller on the front for the tang, and on the back, I'm over 1 1/2 inches. So I'm under on this side, more on this side. So this will be the left side bar. But yeah, they're pretty nice. You can, I don't know if you can see it, you kind of see it where it narrows this way. So we have to put it in the same exact way. Here's the OEM ones that narrowed. See, it's thinner this way. Oh man, I cannot tell y'all how much of an ordeal it is to replace this with this. And I'll show you. So, let me grab the OEM one. So, here's the OEM U-bolt. Nothing crazy. But the big deal is, look at the spacing. It's even across. Okay? This spacing, you can see how it gets, it's like this, it's thinner. This will fight you. This, I was out here, I swear I was doing like 15 minutes trying to get this U-bolt on. But I found a way to bend it pretty easily. So, I come over here and I'll get a bolt. And I'll get this bolt and I'll run them to about here on both sides. Because you're going to mess up the threads a little bit, and at least when you take the nut off, it fixes the threads on the way out. Then what I do is once I have the bolt on, I go and put this pipe over it and I bend it so I can open up this channel back again, because that's the only way you can get these things on. So I got the U-bolt in there. Let me go ahead and lower y'all down some, make this a little bit easier. And what I do is with both those bolts on, I'll slide this over here and then I just bend it so it won't move, and I can bend it and get that open. See how it moves a little bit? That's the only way I know. Oh, other than that, this thing is a pain. It almost makes it worth not doing because of those used bolts. And I think it would be a lot easier. I think it would be truly a lot easier if you don't have like the Tremor package or the towing package with this overload spring. See, I got them in. I got the bottom one in I had to use this clamp to take some pressure on that overload spring. But I mean, if you were just dealing with those bottom three, I think this would just pop on like dummy easy. But since we have the towing package or the Tremor package, it makes life a little bit more difficult. So, because I know what I'm doing now, because I wanted to look like a professional when I was doing it for y'all, we're gonna do this side, and hopefully it wants to work out. Alright, I'm gonna kind of show y'all in real time what it's like. Maybe since I know something now, it'll work. But you got a little tiny like dowel here, you gotta line up in the hole. So that's, I say that it's the easy part, and this is the fun part, is getting these bolts on. The front one's easy. Oh my god, way easy. And this is after I pre-bent those bolts like I showed you, where you expand them out because they got that shrinkage in there. That slipped on. The other side fought me. That's the way to do it. If the other side goes on, that's definitely the way to do it. Alright, here's the troublemaker. This is the tough one. Oh, come on, light, work with me here. There we go. And this one you're just kind of forcing. Oh man, it's way harder than the other side. Oh, they got a whole separate different bracket here. Let's try going this way. See, you gotta be rough with them. You're not rough with them, it's not gonna work. There. Not necessarily difficult, but you got to learn just to send it. The threads are going to get scratched, messed up a little bit. It's fine. They're fine enough thread. When you put the bolt on, it'll fix the threads on the way up. You just got to just send it. And now what I'm going to do is I'll go get the dead blow and just smack these on so they're definitely super on there. You just saw it took under 2 minutes to install. And to do the other side, before I pre-bent these bolts out like I showed you, it took 10 to 15 minutes. And I was saying some very colorful words. That's why I didn't record it. So take a lesson from me, pre-stretch your bolts out and just put them in there, because you got to be rough with it or she's not going to work for you. Now we have to lower the truck and get the leaf spring, the dowel on the bottom, to line up with one of those 5 holes. And you want to go in the center hole. I don't know why they put 5 in there. Beats me, but we're just going to put the put it in the center hole. Alright, this is where it'd be easier if you had 2 people. I don't. So I gotta do it myself. Let me grab my light so I don't destroy it underneath the truck. And we're gonna get this thing lowered down a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh man, it's heavy. Alright. Now let's play the feeling game. Alright. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to take a minute of running back and forth underneath. I'm going to just put y'all on the speed laps and try to get this done. It's not done. I still have to tighten up the bottom bolts, but it's resting and it's resting on its own weight. You ready? I don't know if you can tell a difference on camera, but I sure can. It doesn't look like a dog in heat anymore. Oh boy. My plan is I'm gonna go in there, put the brackets back on, which y'all see. I'm just gonna put on a time lapse because you saw me take them off. It's the same stuff. We're gonna be using the same the forward bracket for the axle on the bottom. We're just going to be using new hardware. But I'm going to get that bolted up real quick, and we're going to go for a drive real quick, because I heard people say once you do this, it handles a lot better. And even with this truck, it's not as high as the others. You can still feel like it's top heavy. So if that fixes a lot of that issue, I'm going to be super happy. and that way, plus it gives it a chance to settle. So if there's any, I don't know what there would be for it to settle, but just, you know, suspension settle. So we'll drive it up down the road, get a couple bumps on it, and then we'll make sure everything's tight, and we'll do a remeasurement and see what our difference is. But the truck looks like it's still leaning forward because the concrete it's on is a little bit higher than the asphalt, but it looks pretty close. If my measurement was right when I first did it, I should have a 1/4 inch rake, which would be great. So guys, I'm driving with that reverse level in right now, and my God, it drives so much better. I can't even tell you. Like, you could just feel the rear end was always light in the truck. You hit a bump, it always shifted. Like, I can just sit here and do this crazy, and it doesn't feel sketchy. Whereas if you did it with the rear end still in the air, it would have been gone. It would have left you. This thing just feels bolted to the ground. It's just amazing how much better it feels. And suspension wise, it feels so much better. Oh, there's another aluminum duty. Gas are just like mine. But man, this is such an improvement. I'm heading right now to go get a full tank of fuel because I only got a 1/4 tank. So with all the weight I have already in the truck and a full tank of fuel, we'll definitely get to see the difference. All right, and here's the final results. So as you remember in the morning, when I started, that was a lot higher. Now it's even, and I mean even. I mean, it's 42 inches from wheel well to wheel well on both sides with no problem. It rides fine, rides a lot better than it did from factory because you got a little bit more weight on the back, a little bit less on the front. So it just seems a lot more planted on the ground, and it's not too bad. I thought it would be kind of a pain, you know, maybe it would sit too low, be an issue. But I drove it through my ditch in the front yard, which it killed it. I still have all my approach angles and everything, so I can still do off-roading, I guess, if I wanted to do it in this truck. It rides so much better, and the wheel wells are now filled in, you know. It doesn't have, it just looks so much better. I think if I give anybody a tip, if you're going to do this and you're going to buy the PMF system and you have a lot of tools in the bed of your truck, bump up to the 2-inch. So I'm sitting flush now, I'm level. But if I go put a trailer on it or excess weight, I'm going to have that squat again. I'm going to have a Carolina squat. I plan on putting airbags on it in the future. It's a nice bit of money I have to spend on it. And I would like to get new shocks. Since I've lowered it, I'm gonna get rid of these super long Tremor shocks, and I wanna put a better quality, but a shock made for it. Because I have about maybe 5 inches of shock rod, and I want a little bit more. So it handles a little bit better. Plus I wanna get a better quality shock. Get some like Bilsteins or Fox or something like that, something nice. But no, it looks so much better. Really fills in that wheel well. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with it. I really couldn't. And I'm not too concerned because once I put the airbags on it, I can bump up the rear a little bit because the springs have a little bit of weight on them. If you're not planning on doing anything with the rear of your truck or really that much, go with the 1.5. You'll love it. If you're going to plan on using your truck for stuff, bump up to the 2-inch. If I could go back, I would do a 2-inch, but I'm not spending the $300 again to do it. No, I'll live with it. And I want to say one more thing. When you order a kit from PMF, their website's really easy. Ordering is easy. No free shipping. There is no free shipping. So the kit I bought was like $235 out the door, or $240, and then with shipping I was like almost $300. Shipping was like $40 some. So you're gonna have to bite the shipping. and it takes forever to get here. So they don't have these kits on stock, on a shelf ready to go out. They get your order, they send it over to their metal shop, and they custom make that part. They custom make it, they spray it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a really nice quality part. The paint finish is way nicer. It's really nice. The hardware they gave me was great. I wish the U-bolts weren't like bent in. If they could fix that issue, that would be nice. But I ordered it May 18th, and I didn't get it till yesterday, which was the 2nd of June. So it took 2+ weeks to get here. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna order this Monday and get it Friday, I don't think so. So I just wanted y'all to be aware. It's gonna take time to order it, but it came really nicely shipped, came relatively quickly. I mean, it comes from Arizona, so if you're living on the East Coast like I am, it takes a week to get here, like anything else. But I would recommend it, but loaded, get the 2-inch. If you don't really plan on using the truck for anything except to drive around, bump to the 1.5. If you're gonna do like me with the 1.5, get ready to spend some money on some airbags or some stuff to keep the rear end from squatting. But I love the look of it. The tires really filled in. These 35s actually make it look decent, because I got 35s on that truck right there, and I got 35s, well, they're not really 35s, they're like 34 by 11, and those are 35s by 13 on a 20-inch rim, and these are an 18-inch rim, so a little bit different. But I can bump up to a true 35, 12.5 to 13 wide, and these things, it'll look great. Plus, I don't really affect my fuel economy by leveling out the front and putting 37s on it, because if I had unlimited money, it would be leveled, 37 mud graps, and I'd be a happy camper. But I think I'm gonna keep it the way it is and put 35 mud graps on it, which my fuel economy hopefully won't suffer too much. Especially being a gas, or anything you do to it, it burns more fuel. That's where diesels really win, way more fuel efficient, but they cost a lot more too. But I appreciate you guys watching. I hope my video was informative and somewhat entertaining, but I would recommend this to anybody before picking up the front and having to deal with all that, because you can't go cheap, because if you go cheap, then you're spending a lot more money. And if you go expensive, like Carly Kit, and I was budgeting them out, they're like $5K the way I want it, because you don't get everything. You get springs and shocks and brake line extensions. Then you got to buy the radius arm brackets and the sway bar. It adds up really quickly. And then there was Wicked Performance, but it's all bolt on, and I would have to buy it for $800, powder coat it for $350. Then I would want new shocks, because I wouldn't want the shock extensions. So that was another like $1,400. And then I want the front, the front strut stabilizers, the 2 bars up front. That was even more money, and it just adds up. Anything for these 250s, I don't care what brand it is, everything's like a minimum of $1,000 to have fun with it, and it's just too much. But for $300, you get semi-leveled, and the really nice part is I can come over here and I don't have to struggle no more. I can come right here and touch the bottom of the bed. Me being 6'4", it works great. I can access my toolbox easier. I don't have to climb into the truck every time. And it works great because I carry, weirdly enough, quite a bit of old people. My whole family's old, and so they always struggle getting in it, and so this should be a little bit better for them. But yeah, she needs a good wash, but she's looking way better now. Just get some fatter tires on there, and we'll be cooking with peanut oil then. So guys, like I said, I appreciate y'all watching. Please like and subscribe. Here are a few photos of the finished product. The truck did finally settle, and the front did lower back to the original height I started with that morning of 41 3/4, and my rear is at 42 3/4. So I have a 1-inch difference